no matter what, I know that. And if I get better sleep, then I can have a better emotional resilience mindset and how like appreciate the punches that do get thrown my way and how I can navigate that.
Most of our problems become as bad as they are because we're not in the space yet to be able to really do that inner work, to dive into that inner world. Um, how many people in your life and then just like the world in general do you feel or do you see or do you think are like actually able and capable and like taking the steps to grow and achieve the things that like they tell themselves that they want to?
It's a great question, B. And being real with it, the only people in my life that are actually humble enough to take the steps to do that, um, really are the clients and the community members and the group coaching members. And I would say that's pretty much it. Outside of that, I don't have evidence to support that. A lot of people outside of the community that we built essentially are actually doing that. You?
Well, I would say even a lot of people in the community, I think they're doing it in the ways that they feel are capable for them right now. But like you and I talk to a lot of them and
Yeah.
like they're struggling so hard with that. Like I think they want it, but they're not I don't think that they're in a place yet where they have the skills and the tools to be able to do it to the degree that they want. And
Mhm.
I have my theory, but why do you think that is? Why do you think that so many people are struggling to like actually get the things that they want, to do the things that they want, to, be the kinds of people that they want?
What I would say is that emotions play a significant proportion in that uh, because of the fact that for the large majority of human beings, ourselves included, the community included, emotions are incredibly taboo for a lot of people. And they have so much of a history with conditioning that says that or has that narrative created for them, right? Like emotions are something that, the inner world or is something that is very unknown, scary. I don't know how to put words to it. And thereby, because I don't know it, I'm going to fear it. And so when I have an emotional experience, i.e., life happens, and I am going through it, I'm going to struggle to actually create an adaptive path forward that doesn't have me backsliding. And I
Mm.
truly believe, and I have so much evidence to support this belief, that it really comes down to a fundamental component that isn't fully developed yet, which is that resilience mindset. When things happen, when things change, which they always are, that's the only constant in life. We have not yet developed the skill sets that our unique soul needs and the parts that we have needs to be able to stand ourselves back up, dust ourselves off, and really heal the wounds that come from the seasons, the chapters, the ebbs and the flows of life. And I think that it's that emotional resilience of a skill that cultivates that scaffolding for us. That's what
Yeah, I
I've seen.
agree. No, I completely agree. I mean, it's really hard seeing people go through the same cycles over
Mhm.
and over again. I mean, you and I have this dialogue all the time. Like we see people in our life and it's just like, what are you doing? Why are you repeating the same cycle
Yeah.
over and over again? Or why won't you go get help? Like so many I want to be very mindful saying this, but like I see 9 clients a day. I hear the
Mhm.
same stories every single day, right? Most of the problems that people have, they are not these life-threatening, existential, detrimental, like, calamities. A lot of the problems that most of us have really would be benefited and really would be honestly, like, solved if we had more emotional resilience, and I'm not saying, and I know that you think this too, it's not like, "Oh, just pull up your" what's the phrase?
Put
"Pull
some
yourself up
dust.
by your bootstraps."
Yeah, pull the
It's
bootstraps up.
not that.
It's not that at all.
It's the ability to actually tune into your emotions, to understand, what are my emotions telling me? What are my emotions doing? They're here to serve a purpose. Like, what is the message that these things are trying to tell me? And am I in this space right now where I can hear them and
Mhm.
intelligently act on them? I think it's the
Yeah.
with all of my clients, it's like I see this discord. With all people, I see this discord. It's like you're either logical or you're emotional, and there's no in between. It's like, no, they go hand in hand. Some of the most intelligent people, they're only intelligent because they're emotionally regulated.
Mhm.
Granted, that's
Mhm.
kind of a blanket statement, it's not fully true, but, like, how many people do you know that are completely dysregulated, and so you won't listen to them even if they're super intelligent? Because
Mhm.
it's like, you can't control your emotions, why would I listen to you?
Mm.
It's most of our problems become as bad as they are because
Mhm.
we're not in the space yet to be able to really do that inner work, to dive into that inner world, to recognize our emotions and the impact that they have on us. And like, we've seen this with me. We know it's a thing. We know what my emotions have done in my life. It's not cute. It's not-
Let me rephrase the behaviors that came out of the
yes.
lack of emotional
Yes.
resilience. Exactly.
It's not cute. It's not cute at all. And I can have here's the thing though, I can be playful about it because I've done so much work on it. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not a
Mhm.
mess anymore. Like, I wouldn't say I'm so far removed from that because there's still aspects of me that, like, still need so much healing and so much growth, and that's okay.
Course.
And I'm doing that work. I've done that work. I'll continue to do that work.
Mhm.
And it's the reason why my emotional resilience and my mental resilience just in general have skyrocketed the way that they have to where even you're impressed, which is awesome because 'cause you're not impressed by anybody. So I'm like, "Hey, I got the
Very
thumbs
rarely.
up." It's
Be
cute.
I love that. I have a client right now that's coming to mind on this conversation, and she, to your point, like, it's not these huge calamities. It's in the small things that a lot of people aren't giving themselves credit
Yeah,
for when you do go into that inner world, because the inner world is the thoughts and the emotions. Like, obviously there's way more to it, but the
yeah,
backsliding happens on the external is what we see and what we just acknowledge, but we fail to acknowledge the inner world of the backsliding in our thoughts, the backsliding in our emotional states, and how
facts.
that's contributing to the backsliding that we're seeing on the surface. So an example of this client that's coming to mind is, she's right now, she's wanting to actually, like, on the surface, get a better sleep score, which is awesome. And I'm so proud of her because we've been synced up to this whole, like, let's get your sleep, the fundamentals, having a better sleep score, having a better sleep. And I know you've been going through this right now because you just got yourself a new bed, right? On the
Just dropped
surface,
a grand on a bed.
right? On the
Traumatized me.
surface, yeah, on the surface, you want to have a positive outcome, i.e., I feel more energetic. I'm able to work through my problems more. Like, the punches are going to come on my day to day and work and my relationship with my family, like no matter what. I know that. And if I get better sleep, then I can have a better emotional resilience mindset and how like appreciate the punches that do get thrown my way and how I can navigate that. And she
Mm.
had a bit of a backslide literally like 2 days ago, and we acknowledged it because on the surface what that looked like was a bad sleep. And while we might not give that so much credit, what was the inner world version of that? What ended up not getting done or not groomed through, worked through, even acknowledged in the thoughts and in the emotions that created that on the surface backslide of not great sleep? It was emotionally, she was not actually processing what the punches of her day brought in her way and
Mm.
how she is capable of overcoming those. And so, her just not doing that one little thing on the thought backsliding and thereby the emotional processing backsliding ended up contributing to a on the surface external backslide, which was her sleep score. So that is the inner world is so fundamental to all of the exterior like external world what we experience of our backsliding, to where if we're not really focused in on building emotional resilience and a mindset that helps us understand, okay, let's groom through our thoughts. What are maladaptive thoughts that are not serving us? What are emotions that are low valence or aka they don't feel good to have? And why is that? Why is that emotion cropping up? Why is that coming to the surface? And why am I, out of everyone, shoving that emotion down and not processing through it? If we know that
Yeah.
not doing that, not cultivating that resilience is going to end up putting ourselves in a backslide, right? So
Yeah.
that's all of that to say, we all have those moments, right? And truth be told, everyone that's experienced a backslide knows that there's reasons underneath that. It's just a matter of, do we have the courage of kind of looking into the truth of the why? And are we taking accountability and responsibility for the backslide? Not only on like when it's been done, but what got us to that point in the first place? What was the thought? What
Yeah.
was the emotion? And what lack of a mindset did we have that catalyzed that?
Facts. What is your episode suggestion?
Episode suggestion is 240, the difference between arrogance and confidence. And what I will say, if
Mm.
this is something that, before your episode suggestion, if this is something that any of our listeners are experiencing, maybe you're noticing that backsliding, please reach out. We have the UDU program one on one. It is not all that crazy needing to jump on the phone every single week or biweekly or whatever. But the UDU program is great because it can help you catch that backsliding in the heat of the moment. And having
Mm.
someone who you can text, send a message and help you recognize that helps to create that resilience mindset, because it's in those tiny little moments that do stack up over time that make a big difference. So, Bianca, your episode suggestion to our listeners if they like this episode.
It's funny that you say that because mine is 309 Why It's Okay to Ask for Help. And we actually just had another member of the community sign up for the U2U program. They just started the other day,
Oh,
which is super exciting. So
so proud of you.
there are other people who are doing this. I know there's a lot of people that are afraid to jump on this because they're like, is this actually going to work? And are other people actually doing it? Yes, we can
Oh, yeah.
assure you other people
Mhm.
are doing these programs, and it's people just like you who are struggling with very, very similar real problems. I wanna make sure that I say that just because our problems are not these massive calamities, it doesn't mean that they're
Mhm.
not real and that they're not valid.
Facts.
And we deserve to give ourselves the chance to work through them and build that emotional resilience that we are talking about in this episode. So,
Mhm. Mhm.
we
Yes.
we hope you all enjoyed this episode. Have an amazing week, and we'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.